Hey guys, I'm Mads from SkatePro, and today we're gonna talk about custom scooters. The great thing about customs is that you can mix and match your favorite parts, so you'll end up with a scooter that's 100% tailor-made for you. But what do you need to think about when you build a custom scooter? To enlighten us about the do and don'ts when you put together your own scooter, I invited our team rider Jonas.
You guys?
So, what do you need to think about at first when you put your custom scooter together?
Well, when building a custom scooter, the first thing that you should think about is the fork. So basically the fork decides everything of the scooter. So I would go fork, bar, clamp, and then the deck. And yeah, start from the fork and build up from there. If you go in that order, well, there's a much bigger chance that you will choose some parts that will fit together the first time.
But why is the fork so important to start with?
Well, the fork is very important to start out with because that basically decides what compression system you're going to ride. When building a complete scooter, you basically build it from the compression system being the first part that you install or have to think about. So, of course, choosing a fork first will definitely be a good choice.
Okay, next is the bar. But what do you need to think about when you buy a bar?
Well, when taking a look at which bar you should buy, you should definitely take a look and think about which fork did I choose. So in my case, I have an SCS HIC fork. I ride SCS compression system. So by that, I would definitely choose a bar which is SCS compatible. That way, I'm sure that I will find something that fits.
So what about the height and the width of the bar?
When looking at height and width, it's all about personal preferences. Some people like it wide, some people like it narrow. Wider bar gives more control. Gives more style, some would say, where a more narrow bar gives you the opportunity to make some faster bar spins, make the scooter go a bit faster around in the air. So yeah, that's basically all about the personal preferences. There's also height, and there it is a bit more kind of a rule of thumb thing. So the bar should be between your thigh and your hips. And if you feel that you are getting a bit of back pain when riding, for example, you will know that your bar might be too low, so you should go a bit up. If you need force when pulling up the bar, you know that it might be a bit too tall. So find something in between there and you're basically good to go, I would say.
Okay, the next thing to think about is the clamp. But what do you need to take in consideration when you are buying a clamp?
Well, when buying a clamp, there's not that much stuff to take into consideration as with the other parts. So with the clamp, it will basically just have to fit your bar. That's the most important thing. Most clamps these days, they come with the shim, so they are oversized by standard, and they can put in a shim to be standard size. That way it will work with all bars. When choosing SCS, it's the same story. I would choose an oversized SCS over a standard size SCS, because if you end up having an oversized bar one day, standard size bar the other day, you would not have to change out the SCS, and that saves you some money. So yeah, I say yes please to that.
But what about the difference of a short deck versus a longer deck?
Well, when taking a look at the deck, yeah, there's a big decks and a small decks. So usually someone would ride with a small deck when they ride in the park. Then they would have the ability to make the tricks go around some faster, make some faster tail whips. Also, they gain a bit of a lighter weight of the deck when choosing something that is small. So that is also a good side bonus for them. Well, again, in the street, some people like riding with a bigger deck, like I do, for example, 23 inches by 5, and that gives a lot of more space for my feet, first of all, a lot of space for grinding. So I get really comfortable in this deck, and I feel like it can go through a lot of stuff, and that's very important for me. So yeah, again, it's all about preference, but there are still some kind of general ideas between the park riders and the street riders.
Okay, we got the parts. But what do you need to think about to avoid any pitfalls?
Yeah, well, there can be many pitfalls when building a complete scooter like this one. So one suggestion could be to go into our website and check out the Build a Scooter tool that we have. And here you are able to build a complete scooter, also see the product that you're building. And yeah, here you're sure that all the parts are matching together perfectly. Also, my best advice would probably be to just check out the product specification on each product that you are buying or considering buying, because by then you will basically always be able to tell if it will fit with your scooter or not. So yeah, that might be my best advice.
Okay, thank you for answering the question, Jonas, and see you guys.